with the 20th anniversary re-release of Star Wars Episode 3, I thought it'd be fun if I do a retro recap review. I will be giving just a quick review, a recap, and just my thoughts on the film itself and just the state of Star Wars. The recap of the film, we see the rise of Darth Sidious in the Galactic Empire, as well as Anakin Skywalker turning to the dark side of the Force, which will have wide ramifications and consequences in the galaxy that lead to the extermination of the Jedi. Now, when this film came out 20 years ago, I was in middle school, and I got a chance to see it with my brothers, my cousins, and a lot of Star Wars fans and moviegoers that I knew. I enjoyed it then, and I still enjoy this film now as an adult. I think this is the best of the prequel trilogy films. It's not a perfect film, but for the overall arcing story and what Lucas was trying to do with the film, I appreciate what he did with this film. Especially seeing Anakin from his humble beginnings in episode 1 as a innocent child, and through episode 2 you see the beginning of the dark turn that he goes down. In this film you see the full manifestation of what happens because of the woman that he loves and he wants to protect. But he is misguided and manipulated throughout the film, and you see the full turn that he will go through. And he does all this in the name of love for the woman he loves, Padme, who is portrayed by Natalie Portman in all 3 films. Now, I stated earlier, this is my favorite movie out of the 3. I love the direction that Lucas went with in this film of showing and trying to justify Anakin's reason of him turning to the dark side. As misguided as he was, it was understandable. I guess if you was in his shoes, especially going back to episode 2 when he loses his mother, and then in the film you learn of the Chancellor, and you find out later that he is the Emperor. And he tells Anakin that if he trains him and learns the dark arts, that he will be able to prevent people from dying. Because in the film, you see that Anakin is having visions of him losing Padme, and with him losing his mother in the second film, he's just trying to protect the ones that he loves. The problem is he just goes about it the wrong way. And I also like the relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin. Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen knocked it out of the park as usual with their roles as Obi-Wan and as Anakin. And it was sad to see their relationship fall apart towards the end of the film as Anakin turns to the dark side, even though Obi-Wan does try to save him, but he realizes that he can't. This movie is the heaviest in weight out of the other 3 films within the prequels, and just knowing the decision that Anakin makes and what the ramifications and the consequences are going to cause, not just in this film but even throughout the future films when you get to the original trilogy and even the side films in between that come later from the Disney films. I still remember sitting in the theater when this came out and when the Emperor implements Order 66, not realizing what was going to happen, and just seeing the extermination of the Jedi basically overnight. And I know this has become a meme over the years, but even with Anakin taking out the Padawans at the Jedi Temple. Another great thing I love about this film is the action set pieces. Watching the space battle at the beginning of the film. And one of the cool things about that is if you were a fan at the time and if you watched Star Wars Clone Wars on Cartoon Network at the time, that last episode goes right into the space firefight scene that you see in episode 3 when the movie starts. So it's a cool connection that they have if you follow everything. And not to leave out the combat scenes with the lightsabers. The last fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin is one of my favorite scenes of Star Wars. The raw emotion and the passion throughout the fight, and the love and the hate between one another, and with Obi-Wan trying to save his young apprentice but realize that he is too far gone, and just knowing that he had the high ground at the end of the movie. And then we see the full transformation of Anakin becoming Darth Vader, and going through the journey through not just the movie but just through all three films, and realizing the tragic ending of what happens with him at the end of the trilogy. From seeing the innocent boy that we meet him at in episode 1 to seeing the monster that he becomes at the end of episode 3. After 20 years, I think this movie has aged well, especially compared to the other two films within the prequels. Because I know at the time when the prequels were done and when everything was finished, I know they were always being compared to saying how they weren't as good as the originals, which is true. But compared to the sequel trilogy that has came out from Disney over the last few years, I would rather watch the prequel trilogy, just for the fact that where you see Lucas is telling a overarching story throughout 3 films, and not even just with the story of Anakin, but with Obi-Wan, Yoda, the Jedi, with the Sith gaining their power throughout the Empire, them talking about the Clone Wars and seeing it, and other things that happen that lays the groundwork for the Star Wars universe. But that's my review for episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. You guys do have an opportunity to go see the 20th anniversary edition of it in theaters. I would recommend you guys to go check it out on the big screen. And I know with it being on streaming now on Disney Plus and other platforms, you will be able to watch it on there as well. If you do got a little extra money and you guys want to go see a movie, I would recommend you guys seeing it on the big screen. It's always cool when these re-releases come out and you get to see the theater experience of watching a Star Wars film in theaters, and it's always fun to go see. Thanks for listening to this review. If this is your first time coming to the channel, thank you guys for listening. Hit the like button, leave a comment, let me know how you guys feel about Star Wars episode 3 and just Star Wars just in general, with the prequels, the original trilogy, the sequel trilogy, and everything that's on Disney Plus now. I would love to hear you guys' input. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button. And also hit the notification button to get updated with all the new reviews that's going to be coming out. Thanks for listening and have a good one, y'all.